Welcome everyone to Horizon Scan. It's another in our occasional series of conversations about the world of high-tech and fast-growth business. I'm joined today by Graham and Tracy, who are the founders and entrepreneurs behind SendSpend, which is a newly launched fintech service. So guys, you've launched your new service, I think. Can you give us a thumbnail of what you do? What the launch was like and the journey to get here?
Sure. I think Tracy's going to take you through from the beginning. But to start with, I'll just give you a very brief synopsis of what SendSpend is. So SendSpend is a payment system for the global unbanked. What SendSpend aims to do is to bring the unbanked people into the digital economy by giving them a global payment system and a global remittance system, all built into one system. The importance of this is that, the unbanked population, they don't have access to online payments, so they miss out on all the digital economy, as we all know it. But not only do they miss out on the digital economy, they miss out on things like getting finance, insurance. They don't have a credit record because everything they do is cash. There's no credit record. So they're vastly excluded from the digital economy. And I think the World Bank rightly labeled this market as the invisible market a couple of years ago. What we aim to do is change this and give the unbanked a voice in the digital economy, give them the ability to obtain credits, obtain insurance, and transact in the digital economy. That's the vision.
Great. And so, Tracy, when did it all start?
Okay, if I can give you a little bit of background, we previously, in our previous life, we had a different business where we manufactured, made, designed devices, and most people forget, but the mobile phone was only really became popular in about 2012. And what Graham and I did is in 2010, we had another business where I mentioned we manufactured smartphones, PCs, tablets for national retailers. And we were very, very successful in what we did. And we worked with retailers, national retailers that worked to the entry-level market. And we launched in Africa, and specifically South Africa, where I'd say about 90% of the market is what they call a LSM 1 to 4. So it's very, very much the entry level. What was interesting to us in those days is that South Africa was second in the world. It was India, then South Africa, who had the most 3G connections in the world at that time. So it was a very lucrative market, and we had a very successful business in developing and rolling out these devices. And what gradually happened, as happens in every computer business, the revenue got smaller and smaller, and the percentages that we made. So in the beginning, if we were making 20% profit, after a few years, it became 12%, and the revenues were dwindling. And then Graham thought of adding, other services that we could provide, whether it was games or insurance, for very, very small amounts of money. And the opportunity was there because the people actually had the money to purchase these small, to upgrade and to do that. But what we quickly realized in about 2015 was they never had the means to do that. Then Graham realized that it happened and came up with the concept of SendSpend. And what that meant was that currently in Southern Africa, there are about 113 e-wallet companies. So we're not talking about mobile banks that have e-wallets, but actually people that offer remittance services or e-wallets. So Southern Africa looked at that stage to be, even then, quite cluttered with services. But what we soon realized that most of those services, almost 99% of it, they're all attached to Visa and MasterCard, or you have to have a credit card. And none of our clients had a Visa, MasterCard, or bank card. And that's how SendSpend was born. So really it's driven by the need of our customers, and that's where we saw the big opportunity.
The complexities of all this, I mean, that must have been a daunting prospect at the beginning, or did you just think, oh, let's go for it?
No, let's go for it.
I think let's go for it was the first thought. then obviously we thought, all right, well, let's take a step back and let's do some research. So we actually spent about a year doing some deep research on the various different offerings within Africa. And what we came up with was that each country had well, not each country, but a few of the countries had some sort of offer. But all those offers were run by the mobile phone operators, and they were using mobile phone systems to run a financial system. So they were running telephony systems to move money around, which was, number one, hugely inefficient. Number two, was basically using technology that wasn't good fit for purpose. It has been manipulated to do what needed to be done. And basically, people transferring phone credits from A to B and then cashing them out. So, and then because of that, it was limited in its functionality as well. And the fourth thing was, it was limited in the fact that if you didn't subscribe to that mobile operator's network, you were excluded from this financial system.
Yeah. What you must realize is, if you look at a customer journey, so living in a first world country, you're incredibly privileged. So when you live, and I'm going to talk specifically about South Africa and India, for example. So in South Africa, they say that about 70% of the people are banked. Now that may be true, but a lot of people that do have a bank account actually don't use it. So if they work, for example, for 2 weeks of the month or 3 weeks of the month, for them to deposit money in Africa, you pay to deposit your money into an account. Where in the UK, you're not charged. But in Africa, every time you deposit money, you actually do a deposit fee. So what would happen is they would get 1,000 rand, they would deposit 1,000 rand, immediately they have less money. So ultimately going forward, what would happen is when they get the next little bit of money they had, they would keep it on themselves instead of actually going to a bank and depositing it. And the important thing with Africa that also sets us apart from a lot of the first world is everything is pay as you go. So it's a very, very large percentage. It's almost 100, not quite 100%, but a very, very large percentage besides businesses have pay as you go mobile phones. All the electricity all the new homes that are now coming have actually got solar systems and pay as you go solar, electricity. So everything is on a cash basis. Everything is by voucher. All the old systems are in place, and this is actually it's very common.
Yeah, I imagine that then there's this kind of three phases. After you've researched the market, you've got to build the platform and make it work. You've got to get regulatory approval, and then you've got to get people to use it. Where are you in that journey?
Well, I'll tell you, we just started to get people to use it. So, we started we did all our research. 2015, we came to the conclusion that this is what we need to do this. So we went out and we raised some initial seed capital in early 2016. So that was sort of the beginning of when we started. And that really was to put together a functional design spec and to get a working prototype. So by the end of 2016, we had our working prototype in place. So this basically gave us an idea. This is what we're going to do, prove the concept that we could build a financial system in the cloud environment. And we went out and raised some more money, then take it a bit further. It then took us about 2 years to get the product developed and filled to a point where we thought, right, we're ready to go to market. That was the end of 2018. Beginning of 2019, I guess we stuck our toe in the water to see what would happen if anyone would bite. And someone did bite, was the regulator. And so we got our first real live experience of going from the lab into the real world and what would happen. So we got hit with the wall of regulation, and we were told, by the bankers, by the regulators, well, great system, but the answer's no unless you do this. So we had to go back to the drawing board a bit and say, right, we need to add the regulatory functionality to our product. And that included things like eKYC, real-time screening for sanction people, ATF, anti-terror financing, anti-money laundering. We had to build that all into SendSpend. the eKYC now links with the government database to verify people by identification numbers. And it's configurable for different countries, depending on what those countries require.
The problem is that the regulation is changing, and it's still changing on a daily basis. And what I mean by that is, although the UK and Europe had an e-money license and a very clear path, you fill in these forms, you do this application, you pay this amount of money, and then you wait this long, and then you'll be granted. When you come to Africa, each and every country is different. They've got different regulations. Some countries don't have any regulation whatsoever. South Africa still doesn't have any regulation as far as the e-money services. In the beginning, I look after the commercial side of the business. I was horrified to hear that we had to wait, to tick all the boxes. Now, that's fantastic, because this is what sets us apart from anyone else and makes us very, very strong in our offer. So all these things really, really give SendSpend a very, very, very unique, strong, you can help me out here. I'm fumbling a little bit.
They give us a lot of strength and positioning
and credibility in what we're doing.
So where are you in the process? You say you've started to market the services and get users, have you?
Yeah, so the marketing will come out at the end of July, beginning of August. So August the 1st really is when we start to market. We got our regulatory approval. We've got 2 approvals. One is as a payment system operator. That came through about 4 weeks ago. And we were waiting for the second approval, which was approval from the FCA, or in South Africa it's called the SFCA, but it's a Financial Conduct Authority. So we got our approval from them last week as an accountable institution, which gives us basically, we're licensed to take short and long-term deposits.
This is amazing. This makes it all sound as though the technology was a breeze.
The software went live at the end of June. So we have 2 apps. One app is what we call our agent app. And this app allows us to build a cash agent network extremely fast. And we have our SendSpend customer app, which is used for unbanked consumers like you and me, or unbanked merchants. And that's even more dynamic in what it's going to do for the average man in the street.
If you're launching for your first serious marketing campaign and customers at the beginning of August, then okay, so what's the next milestone? What after that? Because that must be a big milestone for you guys. Get out there and start to talk about this and get people signed up and get transactions flowing. What's the next milestone? What comes after that? What are you aiming at next? When will you know you've climbed the next hill?
So if we can just go back to, for a moment, on pause on what Graham said, is I think out of everything that we've done, I think the few sentences that Graham said there about the agent network, I don't think anyone actually understands the enormity of that. So what that means is that I'd like to say, and again, coming from a marketing background, we're not allowed to say first in the world, because there's always someone outside our little bubble that might be doing something. But we really believe that what we've designed on Agent app is a first. But what people don't realize is, with this Agent app, we can actually create an army of agents, of thousands and thousands of people to become a SendSpend agent from their home or from their spaza shop. And that's probably the thing that is most unique about SendSpend.
Fascinating. So guys, I guess this is a 5-year project, is it now?
Well, yeah, end of 2015 to end of 2020, so just under 5 years.
And has it been fun?
The fun starts now. Now we're getting live. The product's been live since the end of June. We've been working on it's live. The customer app is live globally. Anyone in the world can download the customer app, can sign up, can remit, can send money to each other if they can get someone to send them money and get money in the system. The Agent app is only live in South Africa and India, and it's live here in the UK. But the services in the UK we'll only be able to market them towards the end of the year. We're in the process of applying for the FCA license and that should be, we should have a good chance of having that by the end of December. We've established a small management team in India, based in Bangalore. We've got a managing director who's just started. So we're building that team. So hopefully by the end of the year, we'll be able to be live in 3 countries, and then start rolling out in Southern Africa, where there's also a massive operation. But our goal is to be live in South Africa, India, and the UK by the end of 2020. And by the end of 2030, we'd like to be live in at least 30 countries, spanning all the different continents. So that's the goal. The next milestone will be to have 1 million customers.
Graham, Tracy, listen, thank you very much for sharing the story with us. And I guess it's been a great journey. And as you say, the fun is just starting. And will you come back in a little while and tell us how it's going?
Definitely. Thanks for thinking of us and getting us in. But it feels good to start talking about it. Fantastic.
Well, listen, thank you very much, both of you, and thank you to everybody who watches this. If you'd like to get in touch, you'll see the details on the screen shortly, and we'll see you next time on Horizon Scan.